Hello and welcome, my dear friends. Welcome to the review of a wonderful modern fountain pen made by OMAS in the 1980s. I present to you today this OMAS 1930s in lady size. Although it was built in the 1980s, the design of this fountain pen is inspired from the 1930s Art Deco move, and this is the reason they named this pen OMAS 1930s. In fact, we have this name OMAS 1930 thermically engraved on the barrel, which is made from the black resin. Interesting about this fountain pen, the barrel, the ending of the piston and the cap, they are made in 12 faceted designs. Let me show you another pen from my collection, which is by the way also in lady size, and I present to you the OMAS Extra model from the 1932, made in this wonderful celluloid. And just to compare them, this was available also in the 12 faceted design, but in this case we have the simple cylindrical design. Like you see, although this is a lever filler and this is a piston filler, we have the same Greek motif repeated on the modern fountain pen. But I have to say that this seems done with attention to details, the original one from 1932. And also the clip is different. In this model it looks like a Shoneken clip, but this is the clip from the 1932. We have the same conical ending here, and like a symmetrical ending also here. So if you want to see the review of this one, I will leave it here on the top of the screen, and I will also leave it at the end of the video. Let me put it aside. And let me return to this particular fountain pen. I bought this pen recently. It was part of a lot, but based on what I paid for the whole lot, I will say I paid for this one around 250 lei, including the shipping cost, so around 50.25 euros or 52.21 US dollars. Like I told you, it is a piston filler. The body is made from black resin. It has gold plated trims. It has this design of two-faceted faces. And again, it is inspired by the design of the pens made by OMAS in the 1930s, heavily influenced by the Art Deco movement. Okay, the cap unscrews and it reveals a wonderful nib. And by the way, my friends, I forgot to show you the 1930s nib, and why not? Let me show you the nib and let me compare the two of them. So the 1930s nib is a little bit larger. It has other design, OMAS 585 extra. This is the new nib. It has an interesting arrow here, and OMAS 585. And now let's look at the ebonite feeder. Again, similar, but this feeder from the 1930s is a little bit larger than the one made in the 1980s. Okay. And also a slightly difference at the ending of the gripping section. Let me put the 1930s aside. And now let us concentrate on this one. Like I told you, it is a piston filler. I think we have a functional piston. It certainly needs a little bit of service because you need to apply a little pressure to write with it. By the way, my friends, I will leave its dimensions on the screen before I will do the writing sample. Let me compare it with the model Meisterstück 146 to see the difference in dimensions. This is again a lady size OMAS 1930 1930s. Okay. Okay, so like I promised you, I will leave its dimensions on the screen, and now I will change the angle of the camera, my friends, because we will do the writing sample and you will see how this pen writes. So for the writing sample, I will use this Pelikan 4001 Königsblau Royal Blue ink. The only problem on this particular pen, you can see that a part of the ending of the cap is missing, and it has also a little crack here, probably a flaw in the design. At the ending, the material is very fragile. In the 1930s one, although it has the same design, you can see it's in perfect condition. Okay, so let me fill it up with ink. Okay, like this. Let me remove the excess of the ink, and let's see if I have a tissue right here. Yes, I have a little tissue. I will just remove the excess of the ink from the grip section. Let me put it aside. And now I am ready to do the writing sample. You can see that the pen actually posts like this. It goes till this. I think I will write with it posted. So what do we have here, my friends? Let me give it a little zoom. We have a beautiful OMAS. The model is 1930s. This is the lady size pen. So here we have a lady size. This particular pen was made by OMAS in Italy. And it was produced in the 1980s till the early 1990s. This particular one is fitted with a 14 karat 585 gold nib. It is a very smooth nib. In my opinion, it writes like an M for a medium nib. It's a pretty juicy nib, as you can see. Some of the nibs made in the 1980s are a little bit flexible, and I'm curious to see if this is the case with this one. So let me give it a little zoom, my friends, and now let me test it. Let's see if we have certainly we have a little flex to it. Let me do also the fingernail test. You see, it has a little flex to it. But let me play a little more with it because I want to give you a right feel. Yes, definitely. A very, very nice nib. You can see that sometimes if you push too hard, it actually loses the ink flow, but in my point of view, it has a little flex to it. Now let me see if we have some line variance. Right here, I'm not applying pressure. I'm here starting to apply pressure. And as you probably can see, we have a tiny little bit of little line variance based on the pressure you put on the nib. So a very, very pleasant nib. Being a juicy nib, it should do the signatures quite well, and you can see it does the signatures interesting. And now let me see, I'm curious to see if we can reverse write with this. So here I'm trying to reverse writing, and it loses a bit the ink flow. Let me see, reverse. So although it does not scratch, it loses the ink flow. So in my point of view, no reverse writing capability. In reverse writing, it writes like an F. So an F in reverse writing, and in normal writing like an M for medium. Okay, my dear friends, now let me tell you about the fox. A little zoom like this. So the I think I have a problem with the inflow, so I'm just testing to see if the piston, and it appears that I have a problem with the piston because I think it didn't drew sufficient ink in it. Let's see, let's test it. Okay, like this. And now let me see. First of all, let me remove and the excess of the ink, and now let me reverse. So let me show you what I am doing. I'm simply put it in back reverse to see if we have some ink in it, and no ink. So it appears I have an actual problem with the piston filler. Not a problem for this video because probably I will try to restore it in the near future. So I will continue my writing sample by telling you about the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Whoa, a wonderful, wonderful nib, my friends. I must tell you, it is very, very smooth in this medium writing, and very, very nice. It feels right, and that little flex that you don't see in modern pens certainly is present on this type of nib. Very, very smooth, very nice. So this is the review, my friends, of a beautiful OMAS 1930s in lady size. A beautiful, beautiful pen, a modern pen that reminds us of the early beautiful, beautiful pieces of the 1930s. This is a true homage to the 1930s one. It's not made in the same quality as the old ones, but nevertheless, a wonderful, wonderful example made by OMAS in the 1980s to cherish the true golden age of the fountain pens made in Italy in the 1930s and 1940s and the early 1950s, back when like I told you, it was the gold time of fountain pens, when they had big sales, and when the ballpoint pen was not competing unfair with this elegant and wonderful writing instrument. This was its review, my friends. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm filming this right at the end of 2024, so I want to thank you, my dear viewers, for all your support in 2024. I will see you again in 2025. Till then, my dear friends, have a happy new year and God bless you all. Bye bye.